Hello everybody, welcome to Astro Pillars Astrology. My name is Samuel Dudgeon. I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine and an astrologer, that being planetary astrology and Chinese astrology. And I'm just doing a brief recap on Year of the Dragon because there's a lot of themes that played out over the years, over this year that I think I got a lot of feedback, actually, more so from patients who experience the energies of this year. This is what I really want to talk about because I'm not going to talk about generic themes and things like this. But we're about to, the Lunar New Year's coming up on the 29th of the 1st of this month. And I just thought, I'm going to do a live on this, by the way. So on my YouTube channel here, I just wanted to state this fact first, actually. So for people who want to jump in on that, it's a good opportunity to understand Chinese astrology because Chinese astrology is a little bit different and some people get a little bit overwhelmed by the characters, the stems and branches, and it's a good opportunity for people who want to find out more specifically about their own charts because I'm going to do some live charts for people who are in the audience, so stay tuned for that one. That'll be coming up on I'm doing it on the 1st of the 2nd, 2025, so this year. And it's on a Saturday. It's going to be 12 o'clock Australian. It's going to be Australian Eastern Daylight Time because I know I've got a lot of followers in America, just so you guys know. But if you want to jump in on that, it's a good opportunity. You can throw in your date of birth and I'll give you a quick rundown of your Barzo chart and what's going to come up for the year, particularly this year. But because we're moving into I think I said, for those who haven't checked out my Year of the Snake video, go and check that one out. But I'm just going to do a recap on this Year of the Yangwood Dragon, because it's been an interesting one as usual. All years are, they're full of events. But I'm going to talk about this more so from feedback I've had from some of my patients and people I know personally, who I do know their charts. And I think one of the key things is in Barzo Chinese astrology, the day master is really important. So for those who don't know their day masters, it's very easy to find. I'll put a link in at the bottom of this video so you can go and just dial up your own chart. It's very easy to do, as opposed to in my course I teach how to calculate the chart from the 10,000 year calendar, which I think is really important. But a lot of people don't have the patience for that. So you can just dial in your date of birth and you can easily find this out, because I think this is important, because the day master point in the chart is the pivotal point of the whole Chinese astrological chart. Even though they fundamentally talk about the years, as in, say, we're Year of the Dragon and now we're about to move into Year of the Snake, which follows a lunar calendar cycle. And of course, for those who don't know, it follows the cycle of Jupiter, which is important to understand, right? Because Jupiter is a planet that takes 12 or 11 point something, just under 12 years to do a full return in the zodiac. And the animals totems in Chinese astrology really follow that cycle. So that's an important thing to understand as well. But one of the key things I have noticed from this year, because a few of my close friends and colleagues they have a Yin Earth Day Master, right? And a Yin Earth Day Master combines with the Yangwood stem for the year, which is a powerful combination. The reason being is when we look at a Earth Element Day Master and what wood represents to an Earth Element Day Master is what they call the power element. And this power element can give you power, status, and recognition out into the world, right? So when the power element combines, it's really auspicious for things to come your way. And that would be, just for an example, 2 of my female patients who have this, who are single, obviously got into relationships because the power element combination represents power element in a female chart. That's what I'm trying to say. Represents a man, and so both these women had men come into their lives and obviously dating and having relationships now. This happened over this year, just as an example of this, of how Chinese astrology works. Another example as well would be a couple of my colleagues. One of them, good friends, started a business, and it was a Yin Earth Day Master, and that's really, really taken off for him this year. In this power element combination, he's got a lot of kind of local media coverage in the area where he established himself, and it's really, really taken off. And this is what I mean. The power element, just as an example, gives you power, status, and recognition out into the world in the public eye. So the Yin Earth Day Masters for this year have really, really has been quite successful so far for the ones I've actually got feedback from. And also probably another really great example of this, not meaning to get political, but this is how I knew Donald Trump would win the election, because I could see that he's a Yin Earth Day Master himself, and his Day Master combines with Yang Wood, which gives you an elevation in power, status, and recognition in the public eye. And so these are just some of the things we can look at and themes for the year, right? In terms of not just focusing on, we focus on the Yangwood dragon and how it affects the whole chart as opposed to just the year. This is when Chinese astro bazi, what they call it, becomes really alive, because it becomes very personal. And when it's more personal, you can take advantage of a chart, your own personal chart, and look for these opportunities that do come your way. And another thing I just wanted to touch on, obviously the dragon is part of water element combinations. So for people who did have those water element combinations, have really benefited from this when the water element is favorable. But on a deeper note, the dragon and the dog clash, and this is quite a deep clash, and I've seen this in terms of people who experienced this when it clashed in the house of the spouse, and also in this year. And it happened because a couple of my patients had a number of dogs in their chart, and really psychologically have been struggling this year, and all of them have really started to feel the shift in their own psyches. They don't feel so overwhelmed because the year's about to move into the energies of the snake. But a very, very strong combination, and it can be a difficult one because it's a lot to do with the psyche. They talk about this in Chinese astrology, the dragon being the net of heaven and hell. And so people can have very strong sensitivity, or just can also feel very drained. It's like it can be like a form of vampirism, or you feel like you're having pranic leaks as well. People's vitalities just aren't as vital, and also it can affect the stomach and spleen energies from a Chinese medical point of view. Is particularly if the earth element is not favorable, you can tend to struggle a little bit more. But having said that, though, the real what I've really noticed from this experience for people, they have some of them have bordered on chronic fatigue with this aspect going on in their 4 pillars chart. So obviously when things like this do happen, because the dragon and the dog clash is probably one of the deepest psychologically, in terms of having just very strange experiences. And there's reasons for this when you understand the cycle of the branches, which I'm not going to talk about now, but you can see in the way the branches actually are set. It's similar to like Aries being on the season of spring, starting in the season of the spring equinox. The rabbit is in the place of that as well, just as an example. That's the beginning of the cycle. But so I just wanted to touch base on that. So this is when, obviously, when people struggle with these kind of things, particularly a lot of my patients have, the acupuncture and obviously Chinese medicine is extremely important, because it helps you cope with the underlying deficiencies, and also helps strengthen the body's constitution and the psyche as well, and tighten the noose. It's almost like with the dragon and dog clash, the energies of the bodies, the etheric bodies, the inner bodies tend to not be as, the vital force is not as harnessed, so I guess the soul is not as well protected, so to speak. So, you know, I think if you've done your psychological homework, or you're relatively sensitive to these kind of energies, then it's easier to cope with. But I think people who aren't quite material, and have been so focused on the material and not so much their own inner life, and trying to sanitize their psyche, so to speak, then they can really get overwhelmed by these experiences, and they can be overwhelming, and a few of my patients have experienced this. So this is just another thing I've noticed over the years. I've been paying close attention to this kind of aspect in Chinese astrology over the years, because I think it's been very interesting how it has played out. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that, because, you know, the years obviously change and they shift and they affect not only our bodies, our physical bodies, because we've got to remember the stems and branches are connected to body parts. And for those who don't know, the stems are just the 5 elements. So there's 10 of those. There's the 5 the yin and yang counterparts of the elements, so you don't know. And the branches all represent elements as well, the 12 animal branches. So I just wanted to touch base on these kind of things, because when the day masters in charts really combine and play out like they do, it's a really auspicious time to take a chance. And I've just noticed too that I mentioned it in my last video in the year of the snake coming up. I really wanted to make a point about the day master stem, because there can be really good opportunities when this comes up. So really, really important to understand for people who don't know Bata. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that. And we're moving obviously into a more of a, not so much of a yang year, more of a yin year. So it's going to be a more introspective, intuitive year. It's a good time to, health-wise, to look after the liver blood, because yin wood is can be constitutionally a little bit liver blood deficient. But it's a little bit different to yang. But we're still using the energies of Jupiter for the year as well, because the wood element is ruled by that. And the yang wood is more so about leadership. So I think a lot of people have been successful in setting goals for the year, it's been extremely valuable for them. I had a few patients who had readings earlier in the year and really wanted to make use of this, because the wood element was quite favorable for them for the year. Now in Bata, when we talk about favorable and unfavorable elements, it doesn't mean doom and gloom. And I don't like using those kind of analogies when it comes to astrology, because it's all about learning how we work with the cycles. And that's really, really important. So I just wanted to touch base on that. Just a quick note about the year of the Yangwood Dragon, how it's affected people, more on a personal level as opposed to a collective one, because I like talking about more of the personal stuff, because this is what we can control. A lot of things on the collective are out of our control. So the beauty about astrology is understanding our own charts, so we can empower ourselves to can take control over our own lives. So yeah, like I said, coming up, I'm going to do a live on Year of the Snake. And for those who want to know about their Bata charts, you can punch in your dates of birth while I get on there, and I'll give you plenty of notice. I'll put I'll do a few shorts and things like this to get make it very clear when the date is, but it is the 1st of the 2nd and 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So thanks for listening, guys, and happy Lunar New Year, which is coming up.